Welcome to the Joshua Morales podcast.
All right, and we are live. So I got Jesse De Leon in the house, and he is what I consider the expert, and I'm pretty sure you can attest to this. You're the expert in the Amazon, Wayfair, eBay, e-commerce world, because I don't know too many people here in the Rio Grande Valley that are doing what you do at a successful rate that you're doing it at. So can you kind of just lay the ground terms of how you got into this, how you started to get into this?
Sure. We started way back when I used to have Mexican restaurants in Houston, and we decorated the restaurants with decor from Mexico, and eventually people wanted to buy the stuff off the walls, and I kept saying no, you're crazy, whatever. And one day I decided, you know what, let's do it. So I just started putting prices on the stuff on the walls, and things started selling. So then I started putting more things. Then I started taking tables and booths out, started putting furniture. And then people said, well, I have a store I like to buy in bulk wholesale. I said, sure. So then I got a little warehouse, bigger warehouse, on and on and on. And as the internet was coming along, my first, immerse was on eBay, like 2005, I think. And I started on eBay, and that's all I sold, was eBay. I mean, there was a time when eBay was cool to do auctions. I was selling things that are worth $10 for $200 something.
Wow.
People were fighting for old tortilla presses and things like that. Now, of course, it's not the case. So, and then as things progress, I started finding other platforms to sell on. Then I started Etsy. Then I started doing our own websites. Eventually closed the retail part of the business, which was here locally called Tierra Dulce in McAllen. And that was probably the best thing I could have done, was to decide that retail was going downhill and online was going uphill. And so then I just sold the building, concentrated on online, started looking at more platforms like Amazon and Etsy and eBay and Wayfair and How. So now we sell on so many platforms. Now we sell our own websites. We are big as drop shippers, which means that you have your company, we sell our items through you, we get your customer's order, we ship it directly to your customer without them even knowing that we even exist.
Right.
And so we do a lot of that. So when you buy from me, you buy it wholesale, but then you sell it to your customer at a retail price. At the end of the week, we bill you for what we ship to your customers, and so forth like that. So
I find that fascinating, so much so that I tried to get into it a few times, and I guess it's just I didn't have the time for it, and I wasn't into it as much as I should have been. But I commend you, because I went with you for 3 months, and I was just studying everything you did. You had me taping up boxes and just learning literally from the ground, and it was an amazing experience, because I got to dive into the world and see what it really is, and it's a ton of work. It's not like you're just sitting there waiting for orders coming. You already have orders piled up, and then you come in on Monday, and or even on Sundays too, right?
Saturday and Sunday.
You're just trying to catch up.
People say, "Wow, your business is great." Well, I mean, it's a lot of hard work. I mean, I get to work probably 5, 6 the latest every day. Sometimes Saturdays, sometimes Sundays. But it takes hard work. I mean, nobody will give you anything. Nobody. You have to go out there and get it. Always keep tuned with what's going on in the online business. What colors are trending. What items are hot, and listen to your customers. They will tell you. A lot of our new products, new items, new colors, new designs come from our customers and say, hey, what if you do this? Or what if you do it this way? Or what if you do it twice as large? Or whatever, colors. And so you just keep listening and you try it. I mean, it doesn't work. Guess what? You spent, $40 on a professional photo, and that's it.
Yeah.
And so you just don't sell it anymore. But that's how you learned. You were a great what do you call it? Free labor. Let's call it free labor.
Free labor.
Free labor. It was fun, but yeah, people think it's not easy. I don't know. For somebody to come in and do it nowadays at the volume and rate we do, it would take a lot of money. I mean, it burns. I mean, we go through so much cash.
So you were just in the right time at the
Yeah.
right place, and you caught that trend going.
Exactly, and you keep adapting, you keep changing, because what we sold when we first started, talking about your tourist stuff, you go across the border. Now it's all home decor, it's all, middle, upper end kind of stuff. So a lot of mirrors and things like that. So we try to think. My goal is to sell things that nobody else has, because then you're not competing on price. Because we can't compete on price because we're never going to be the cheapest, and I don't want to be the cheapest.
So I remember when we were there one time. You had competitors, right?
Yes.
And the whole world of e-commerce, from what I understood, is it's a race to the bottom. Once you have a product and it's a race to the bottom to see how cheap you can possibly sell it. Do you subscribe to that, or
no? Unless I'm forced to.
Okay.
And
how do you deal with that?
It's aggravating. It's bad. I don't enjoy it. I've tried it both ways. So you say, okay, there's a person that's selling 20 of your items, and he's lower than you. Why? Who knows why? And this is on Amazon, and it's only one other seller on Amazon that sells about 20 items we sell. And so you say, well, you can't beat them, join them. So you start lowering it. What I realized that people on Amazon will buy the lowest priced one, no matter what. 99% of them will buy the lowest one. So after trying, hey, let him sell it at that low price, let him lose money, let him run out of stock. It didn't work. So you say, well, then we're just gonna have to just play his game. And so there's 20 items that we don't make a lot of money on, but I have to do it because if I don't get that customer that buys 20 of them,
right,
that buys 10 of them, that buys that item plus 3 more, where we make the money on those other items.
Gotcha.
So that's where I learned there's no easy solution. It just depends on what you're selling, when you're selling it, where you're selling it, who you're selling it to. So you learn that through trial and error, basically.
And you have an advantage because you have so much stuff, right? Is that obviously one of the factors that you're able to play this long game and play these games that people are doing?
Yeah. So thank God we're doing well, and we have enough stock to sustain pretty much anything that comes our way.
Yeah.
And so we have 8,000-10,000 bowls. We have just enormous amount of doors. We have 300 pairs of doors, things like that. We have 20,000 square feet.
Wow.
And we strictly online. We have about 12 employees. We ship probably 80 to 100 boxes a day.
Wow.
It's every day.
That's awesome.
So so it's fun, And the idea is the main thing for me is I am a troubleshooter. I learned it in the restaurant business. I would go in and basically fix restaurants.
Yeah.
And so that's what I look at the orders on the floor and say which one is incorrect.
Okay.
That's the way I look at things. It's not. I don't worry about the ones that are correct.
Right.
Because now if something's incorrect, now you've lost the item because it's too expensive to ship it back. So somebody's got a free item, and then now you got to reship it. So now you got to pay shipping again. So mistakes are costly, as I tell my staff.
It's interesting. So you have a system there that you already kind of refined to where it's easy, it's efficient for everybody, and you get stuff out as soon as possible.
Yeah.
We live in the internet world where people want instant gratification. So I'm sure as soon as they open that box at home, they're already on the phone if something's wrong with it.
Oh yeah. And Amazon has made it so easy for people to return things. It doesn't matter why.
Yeah. How easy is it for these platforms to just kick you off? Because for me, I'm always scared. This is my biggest fear, is that social media will disappear tomorrow, and I'm out of a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how easy is it for these platforms just to we don't support what you're doing anymore and kick you out?
The one that scares me the most is Amazon, because it's the strictest.
Okay. As far as strict, what do you mean?
If you get too many bad feedback on, it's only happened once where it's one item that, because it's all our items are one of a kind, and so the sizes will vary, and people will say, well, I ordered this one, but I got too small, too short, too fat, too thin, too whatever. And so all of a sudden, Amazon doesn't see it that way. They see it, you have bad feedback. You have people that are not happy with the item, so they take it off. They unlist it for you, basically.
Really?
So then until you prove that you're going to fix the issue. So that happens. My fear is that somebody reports you for something that makes no sense, whatever,
right,
and they just shut your store down.
Yeah.
That can happen. More so with Amazon. I think the other ones are a little bit nicer, I guess you can say. Wayfair probably won't do it. House won't do it. But Amazon's the only one that can say, we don't need you. And they don't.
Yeah.
That's how it's the monster gorilla. Yeah.
What's your best platform that's generating the most profits right now?
The fastest growing, the one that will be probably half of our sales would be Wayfair.
Awesome.
And our first year, our trending the year after the first was over 200%.
Wow.
Then 60%. Now we're probably at 30 over
And
So
you
every year,
see it growing.
oh yeah, year after year.
That's it.
It's like it's kind of like it's like a baby. Whatever you feed it, it just eats it. My idea is just to keep it new items, keep it fresh,
and these new items that are coming in there, they're from your brain, right? You're coming up with them.
Yeah. I'm the creative part of the business. So, colors, shapes, designs, especially mirrors, things like that. Because think about a place where you can buy a mirror custom made. I mean, where you can't go to Walmart, you can't go to Target and say, I want that, but it's too big. I want it smaller. So with us, and the best part is, which is most people won't even attempt to, is can I get it to you undamaged?
These are mirrors.
Forget the fact that your mirrors are beautiful. Can you get it to me without any problems?
Yeah.
That's the hard part. And so we perfected the shipping. We spent a lot of money on packaging, on bubble wrap. I mean, thousands and thousands of dollars a week.
Yeah.
But we get it to you in one piece.
Yeah.
And when something happens, we send you another one.
Yeah.
So, but that's probably the hardest part. I mean, think about it. Yeah.
Because I remember when I was doing research, they were saying to get like items that are probably this size. The bigger your phone.
But guess what?
Yeah.
Everybody's doing that.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
And then you have to compete on price now.
Yeah.
Who's going to compete against me with mirrors?
Exactly.
Nobody.
Yeah.
And people just Google rustic mirrors or rustic whatever or purple mirror, green mirror.
So and you're usually one that pops up first.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
So that's the key that I don't want to sell Barbies and iPods.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
why am I going to make 10 cents?
Yeah.
Why? You're doing the same amount of work.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll sell less mirrors, but I'll make more money than
Yeah.
selling something that 1,000 other sellers are selling. So.
Yeah, I find that fascinating. So you travel quite a bit to source your products, right?
Yeah.
So talk about that, because I always found it fascinating that you can travel the world, see all the cool things out there while you're working, and still enjoy business with pleasure. And I always see your Instagram posts, your Facebook posts, like, I'm going to Guadalajara this weekend.
Next week.
There you go.
Next week, yeah.
So you're doing all these things, and I find that fascinating. So touch on that. How did you develop the relationships by going across the border, talking to these people? What was it?
I met my right hand, who's in Guadalajara. I met him in Progreso, which is in the Las Flores, they call it. That's where I met him one day, and he was closing his store, and he offered me to sell he offered me to buy the whole store, and I said sure. So I got a U-Haul back then, when you were able to drive a U-Haul to Mexico. Long time anymore. Can't even drive a truck. And I bought all his stuff, and so I brought it and I started selling it in my store here in McAllen. And then eventually he contacted me and said, hey, look, there's a gift show in Guadalajara. Would you like to come? And so I did, and that's how he started. So there's a gift show in Guadalajara twice a year, in February and August, that I go, and this is where all the artesanos go, and they rent a booth and they sell their items. And so you go there and you meet them there. I'm a real laid-back kind of guy, and I love just walking down the streets in Tonalá and Guadalajara and finding people, because most of them cannot go to the shows.
Right.
Most of them don't have the money to rent a space for a week. That's the issue. And I don't really want too many from the shows, because guess what? Everybody else is buying their stuff.
Right.
And those are going to be online competing against you.
Interesting.
So if I find you in an alley, well, not an alley, but a street, making whatever trinkets, and they go with my line, then I'm going to buy them. So, and it's just being open. I go with an open mind and say, I don't know what I'm going to buy. I don't know. Most of the time I like it. It's a great price. Can I sell it? Can I ship it without damages?
Right.
That's the key. Does it have too many moving pieces? I don't buy those things.
Yeah.
Fragile items? Why?
Yeah.
They're beautiful, but I can't get it to you.
Right.
There's only so much packaging you can do, and it's still going to get damaged sometimes.
And all of these are handmade products, right?
Yes.
That's the crazy part.
That's the best part and the worst part. Because if I sell you a bowl, guess what? There's not going to be the one photograph.
Yeah.
And you know that. But in your mind, you've been waiting for 3 days, 5 days, 6 days, and you envision this bowl. And when you get it, it's like, And it's usually women, I'm sorry, but that's my 90% of our customers are women, and they're cool, but sometimes they get this idea that what they bought it's gonna be a certain shape, and it usually is, but it's gonna be off a little bit. The color's gonna be, because it's handmade, hand painted. They're all one of a kind. So, and that's the best part and the worst part. I mean, you get so many that says, "Oh, it's perfect, I love it." You get some like, "Well, it's too much yellow, it's too much green." Or they'll say, "Hey, I want a bowl that's round but square, tall but short." Oh yeah, trust me. Yeah.
So what's been the craziest request that you got?
Craziest request. When they say they send me a picture of their living room. Okay, just today, a lady, or was her name Tammy or whatever, says, "I want to buy this sugar mold for my mantle." She sends me a picture of the mantle with the sofa on the left side and a yellow pillow on the sofa. She says, "Can you match the yellow on my pillow?" And my staff and I just crack up because we love those things. And like, trust me, I have attempted. The word is attempted many times in the very early stages when we started business.
To give them what they want.
To give them what they want, because you're desperate. You make a name for yourself and you want to sell it. It's money.
Yeah.
But now we have the liberty and the luxury of not needing to do that. And so I say, we do not match colors. We do not match. I'm sorry. We just don't. And you can tell them why, but it doesn't really matter. Because the truth is, they're not going to be happy, because it's, how are you going to match a pillow? I mean, the screens are different. Your screen, my screen. What yellow is it? There's 1,000 kinds of yellow. Yeah. So that's the request I get. The best feedback I ever got on eBay. This is funny. Some guy, I sold him some stuff. He responds, says, "Great job. If you and I were in jail together, I would take care of you." Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the best feedback ever. I was like, okay. So I don't know what that means, but I don't want to know.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So it's fun. It's never. I mean, it's always exciting there. It's it's amazing.
So where do you see yourself in the next year? Because obviously the landscape's going to change, and it's always evolving. Yeah. Where do you see Amazon, Etsy, Wayfair a year from now, given your experience already?
The platform that's struggling the most is eBay, and you can see the sales are down. The ones that are thriving, Amazon's always going to thrive. Wayfair also. Etsy's doing better. eBay's the only weak one, and it's just because they haven't spent the money. They lost their way, I guess you can say. They went from being eBay, the collectible kind of antiques, to trying to be more like Amazon. And
gotcha.
It's hard. I mean, I understand you have to, catch up to Amazon. I get that, but I think you could have done a hybrid of both, maybe. I mean, they went from one extreme of what eBay was to now being like Amazon, and you can't be like Amazon. There's no way. And so I think that's the weakest link. My goal is to just keep, creating new items and new decor for people to get excited about. So
yeah. So let me touch on the whole internet world. Like, obviously the internet has opened up so many opportunities for people, whether it's in digital marketing or the arena you're in e-commerce. Mm-hmm. What have you seen trend the best? Like, what is the best digital place to go into, business that you think people can go into at a lower cost? Because you're saying if you want to get into what you're doing now, it's going to take a lot of capital.
A lot of capital to do it quickly and profitably. I think the next thing is going to be, for me, that I'm kind of excited about and hope to do, is to actually sell merchandise quickly with just one click on eBay and on Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome.
I think that's the next step for retailers, because if you think about it, if most people are on social media, they're going to be on either Instagram or Facebook. Let's say 80% of the people are.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? If they're there and you can hit them with an ad that they can just, "Oh my God, I love it," click it, and they already bought it, and you get the order. That's going to be probably the change that I think that if we could get to that point.
That would be really good.
Yeah, because you got to follow where their eyeballs are. I mean, where are they going?
Yeah.
They used to walk and go to stores. Guess what? Now they don't. They stay home and live in mom's basement and order stuff.
So what's your take on that now? Because all these huge brands are closing down shop. Toys R Us, for example, right? Yeah. But they're coming back.
Yeah.
But there's so many restaurants now. There's so many brick and mortar places that are closing down shop. It seems like within a year.
It's inevitable. It's just the way it is, and eventually malls will be, I would think, entertainment centers, because eventually there's not going to be a lot of retail stores, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
It's just, and if you have retail, you're going to make it so that your online presence and your retail presence kind of, it's like a hybrid. You kind of mesh it together, and so now people can order online, but they can take it to the retail part and drop it off if they have a return. Things like that. So a lot of stores are doing that, like Target and I think Walmart are doing that kind of stuff. So you kind of get both sides, you know, appeal to both. But it's inevitable that more and more retail stores, and the huge ones, I mean, there's so many.
Yeah.
So
when I was in Chicago, I went to a grocery store up there, and it was actually doubled as a Amazon drop-off place, which is cool.
Yeah.
I'd never seen that before. So
yeah, Kohl's is doing now Amazon returns.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So you just drop it out, they take care of it.
Huh.
Because they know if they can get you in the door, you see something on a mannequin, you're gonna go, well, I need that dress, or so that's kind of they want you to step foot into their store.
Yeah, you're more likely to buy something once you're in there.
It's like going to the grocery store hungry. I mean,
yeah,
you buy everything.
Yeah, it's always happens. Like getting one thing and then it was like 20.
I came for milk. Yeah.
So the future of e-commerce.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you. I think I sent you a text with it.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting into CBD bath bombs,
right.
and I have boxes just
right.
sitting in my office.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I started the website and never did anything. What advice would you give somebody that has a little bit of money to try these things out? What is the best way to be able to approach this?
Oh man, Amazon's pretty hard. So if you're gonna be doing online, either your own website, which is gonna be expensive, I would start with Etsy or the eBay, Yahoo. What's the other one? I forgot what the other one is, but one of those that it's relatively easy to get in with minimal. I think like on eBay back then, you had to have 10 feedbacks whether you bought stuff or sold stuff. So once you do that, you're able to sell online. And that's the way to do it. Don't buy thousands of boxes of stuff like you did. You know, maybe 20. But I got a great deal. Okay, but you still have 20 boxes.
Yeah.
So, and try it that way. I mean, do some farm markets. I mean, out there on the weekends and see how they do.
Yeah.
If you go and sell, you know, at a weekend, you know, sale, and nobody even likes them, then you save your time and money.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's relatively cheap now to try out these new businesses and see if they actually work, because it's no longer you're spending 150 grand
right.
on a new business.
Right.
Now it's like $2,000-$3,000.
And you don't need you don't need an office. You can do it out of your home, your garage. A lot of people are doing that. I mean, a lot of my shipments to even the wholesale customers or to their homes. I mean, and a lot of them are selling on Facebook and Etsy.
And you're doing this is nationwide, right? All your customers? Or
yeah, nationwide.
Worldwide as well?
Worldwide, yeah. But yeah, like our biggest line that's happened in the last 3 years has been the newborn baby prop line.
Interesting.
Crazy. So we our number one item is these wooden bowls. And what started happening is somebody discovered that you can put a newborn in a bowl and photograph it, and it's like the prettiest thing ever. And so now we have this huge line of just baby props. And so what we do is we sell to prop companies.
Okay.
And so I sell to the prop company sells to the photographers.
Interesting.
Or if you're a big photographer, then you just buy direct from me because you're able to sell to other photographers.
Right.
And so and I would say 99% of them are women. And how they sell their stuff is basically social media, Facebook, Instagram, all that. Because I follow some of them just to see what they're doing.
Right.
And it's crazy because they'll say, hey, what they do is they order, 50 items from me. You know, they have the photo already of the item. They'll go on Facebook. They'll say, hey, I'm taking pre-orders for these 10 colors or 5 colors.
Yeah.
You know, comment with your name and how many you want. And boom, they start selling them. So by the time I ship it to them, they've already sold them.
That's awesome.
And so now
that's smart.
Yeah. And so they're very smart. I mean, they do a lot of that. So that's been our biggest line so far. That's just crazy.
That's where you see a lot of potential coming in.
Yes, it hasn't stopped.
Damn.
It has not stopped.
That's awesome.
So we create new things. We did a boat you can put a newborn in a boat. A heart, probably the biggest seller now is a carved heart where they put a newborn in there. I mean, it's just
interesting.
It's pretty cool. So, and again, how did I find those items? Listening to my customers.
Right.
You know.
So that feedback really drives your decision on what you're going to push out.
Exactly. And the best thing I did for these the newborn line is I let these customers pick their own custom color.
Okay.
So we use the paint called Behr, B-E-H-R. So I say, hey, if you order 10 or more items of any of the props, that would be your exclusive color. Nobody else is going to have that color. So now all of a sudden we have this warehouse shelving with just all these paint cans for these customers.
Wow.
And it's whoever has that, it's their exclusive color.
That's
so that's
awesome.
a little thing for them to say, hey, well, you can only get this color from me.
Right.
So, and that was a good thing that we did, you know, for them. So
Interesting. So obviously, social media has opened up the world to everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about it? And we're going off subject now.
Sure.
This podcast really doesn't have a subject, right? I just like interviewing people that I know that are really successful at what they do and that I find fascinating. So, social media has given a voice to everybody. What do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing that everybody has a voice now and everybody can form their own opinion about anything, everything?
Yeah, it's good and bad. You can tell, I guess, by reading these posts sometimes who the intelligent ones are, because you're thinking, okay, why would you say that? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, trust me, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of things I want to say, a lot of things I want to respond, but I don't because it's not appropriate. I mean, you know, once you get into politics, once you get into religion on Facebook or wherever it is, you're never gonna win. You're not gonna change their mind.
Yeah.
You know, and you can just till you're blue in the face.
Yeah.
And
it won't
so
matter.
It won't matter, and it's scary because, you know, and you're gonna lose a lot of friends.
Yeah.
I mean, some of my friends, you know, I don't agree with, but I don't get them to say, well, you're wrong and I'm right.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Nothing's gonna come out of it.
Right.
You know, and so it's a good thing, but again, use it wisely. You know, just be aware that it's not me, Jesse De Leon, but my companies as well. I mean, I represent them.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, same thing with me. If you're selling to me, okay, and you don't know how I feel politically, okay, and then you're posting stuff that I don't agree with, you need to be careful because you shouldn't be posting things like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's several things, but I just kind of let it go. So just be careful that you represent your business, like you.
Part,
It's like you. I mean, you want people to come on your podcast, but if you're out there spewing whatever, and guess what? Half of your potential interviewees don't feel that way.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's
I'm very strategic with what I talk about, and a lot of things I don't talk about politics because it's a rabbit hole that I'm going to get pinned down on as something, and if I say something that's politically incorrect, I just steer away from that. So I just have other people talk about their beliefs on politics.
Let them hang themselves.
Yeah, let them hang themselves.
Yeah, it's like okay. Yeah, so people have to be careful. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
You know, it's good if you use it wisely. It's bad if you don't know your facts.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I completely agree.
Yeah. So.
So I want to talk about the thing that just happened, and talking about policy, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think this is something that should be talked about.
Yeah.
And it's the violence that's going on right now,
Right.
the shootings.
Mm-hmm.
Not to get too deep into it, but how do you feel about that? Like, what do you think that we could do as a nation to kind of just like deter these things?
So this is where we're gonna get half of my friends pissed off at me. So, personally, again, I think there should be better gun controls. Doesn't mean that people are going to take your guns away, but who needs a rifle with 80 bullets? I mean, how many deer are you going to kill?
Yeah.
It's for mass destruction. I mean, there shouldn't be magazines that big. There shouldn't be, assault rifles. I mean, nobody's taking your guns and your shooting rifles away. It's just that I think there's got to be a balance, and it's sad that this happens, and words mean something.
Yeah.
There's weak people out there. There's weak people out there that hear things that people shouldn't say.
Yeah.
And they think it's a battle cry for them to go do something about it.
Yeah.
Whether it was meant to be or not, the end result is people get killed. So, and it's sad that You send your kids to school and you're afraid, are they going to make it back home?
Yep.
Or going to grocery shopping, going to the movies, going to church. I
Yeah.
mean, that's sad that we become this nation. People say, well, it's mental illness. Well, the whole world has mental illness problems.
7 billion people.
And guess what? They don't have the massacres we have. So
Yeah.
obviously, that's not a good reason to say that that's because the person that did the offense was mentally ill.
Right.
No, I don't think that.
And it's crazy because I believe there was 2 people from PSJ that were in the El Paso shooting.
Yeah, I know one of them passed away. I mean, I didn't know him, but I saw it through social media.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
And it's, I mean, just happened to be there,
Yeah. It's crazy that it's hitting so close to home. Like, it could literally happen anywhere.
Yeah.
And I think, well, obviously here in the Rio Grande Valley, we live so close to the border, right? There's a border crisis going on.
Yeah.
I just feel like, I feel safe here.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but
I
I feel safe taking my family out, going to have dinner. I mean, me and my wife just went to Mexico. We had lunch over there. We had a few beers, and we came back, and we saw actually one of the buses taking back the illegals that they just are deporting over here.
Right.
But I never felt not safe. Maybe even when I traveled to Monterrey on bus from here, I didn't feel unsafe. But obviously, people are like, "Oh, it's your time, right?
Right.
If it happens, then and then." But I don't know what it is. I've always felt safe here, and when I've traveled into Mexico, how do you feel?
It's the same thing. The one comment that I get when people who follow me and say, "Wow, you were over here and you were in Mexico and you were in this. Aren't you afraid?" That's the first thing they say.
Yeah.
I said, "No, I've been doing this for 25 years. And guess what? I've never been robbed, assaulted, ever. And I walk the streets in Guadalajara and in Cabo and Mazatlan all the time. In shorts, I look like a tourist. So if you had any doubt that I was a tourist, I'm a tourist.
Yeah.
So I've never felt that way like you. I don't think about that. I've been doing this for so long. I mean, I fly out of Reynosa lots of times, so I actually drive. And that to me, I'm still a little afraid, but I would drive myself to the airport, park my truck there, go to Guadalajara for a week, come back, drive back.
Yeah.
People go, "Oh my God, you're crazy." Well, no, I mean, no, it's just, it's okay. So just, be aware, be attentive. But I feel safe. I mean, I'm going to Guadalajara next week. Same thing. We're going to drive I'm going to get a taxi now because they closed the FAR bridge to regular people. Yeah. So I'll get a taxi to take us to the airport in Reynosa and fly out of there, and same thing on the return. So, but yeah, I don't have a problem unless you're into that stuff, dealing and selling. Those are the ones that are getting killed most of the time. So
yeah, I haven't shared this story with I probably only shared it with like 2 people. But when I was coming back from Monterrey, I also flew in from Reynosa, right?
Okay.
So I got the cab back to the United States, and it was $100. I was like, fine, just get me to the United States. They actually bring you over the border.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about that was like, all right, $100, get me over the border.
Yeah.
But the crazy part is this guy's taxi breaks down on the side of the road. I was like, shit, this is how it's gonna happen. But he called up his buddy. He's like, hey, my buddy will be right here. Just don't worry about it. But we're literally on the side of the road with its broken taxi. And I was like, fuck, this is gonna happen.
Oh my God.
And then his buddy came and picked me up when we left. I was like, yes.
This is the way I'm gonna die.
This is the way. I didn't share that story with too many people, but now it's live and it's on the podcast too. But I mean, that was the one instance there. I was like, man, come on. But even then, like right after that, I heard him talking to his buddy. He came pick me up, and it seemed good. So I was just, those instances do happen, but
it happens. But
not very often.
Overall, it's very safe.
Yeah.
People overplay it.
So I want to talk about Elon Musk. Elon Musk is probably somebody that I follow the most. Of course, Joe Rogan too. But artificial intelligence. Do you see it becoming a big player in the e-commerce world? Like where it's actually you'll be able to get some software, and the artificial intelligence will just literally just take your job, and you get to relax on the beach in Guadalajara one day.
I think we're quite a bit away. I don't think we're there yet. I think it'll be somewhat like that, but I think it's more of what people are doing with their keyboard and where their eyes, you know what I mean? That not so much the artificial part. Yeah. Like we're talking about, there's so much data that's being, derived from what we do. Every stroke we do on the keyboard, every click we do is being recorded, and people know your shopping habits. I mean, why do you think that when you're online and you were just searching for, I don't know, a basketball, all of a sudden you get ads for basketball?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why. So I think that part is going to be improved so much better. I think easier for us to sell to those customers, or easier for us to buy what we're looking for. But I think artificial intelligence, I think it's quite a bit away. It's a little scary, I think. I haven't really read too much about it, so I'm not, even though I'm a minute expert on it. So, but it's scary. I don't know. I don't even want to even think about that.
They're watching you right now.
I know, they're watching me. Yeah.
No, I find it fascinating that actually what you were talking about, the retargeting and stuff, when you're on Amazon, you go back on the Facebook, you see the same thing. Yeah. That's my area of expertise. Is the Facebook Pixel is what it's called.
Okay.
And what it is a piece of code that goes onto your website. That way, when somebody visits your website, we can retarget them up to 30 days, which is kind of scary, but it's awesome for marketers and advertisers like me, because we can literally dive in deep to exactly what you're looking at. We'll give you a Facebook ad or an Instagram
nudge,
and it's awesome. Yeah, a little nudge just really pushes.
A lot of times that's what they need.
So, do you shop online?
Oh yeah, of course.
How often?
Every day, probably.
So you're getting Amazon packages every single day.
Yeah, for both business and personal. Yeah.
Awesome. So, where do you see? We talked about eBay, right?
Yeah.
Do you think eBay is just gonna drop off eventually, or?
I don't know. It might get bought out by another competitor, but they just need to improve everything pretty much.
Yeah.
It's just they're doing a ad campaign. You'll find it on eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think they need to put some money and some good people. What they need to do is they need to put people in charge that are actually selling on there, because they try to change the way we sell things, and it's super hard. It's not easy to navigate or find things
on eBay.
On eBay, yeah. So I think they still need to improve so much, and so.
So talking about advertising and where it's gone, before it was newspapers, and it was radio, then TV, then radio's still in the game, then billboards and magazines, digital marketing. Do you feel that these, depending on your audience, of course, their age demographic, do you think that there's still viable solutions for advertising?
Oh yes, of course, yeah. I think so we have these warehouse sales because we're only online now, and so for us to get rid of items that are samples or things that are broken or whatever, not broken but damaged, I guess.
Yeah.
We have these warehouse sales 4 times a year, and so what I realized, and thanks to you because you gave me some advice, is to use Facebook to push those customers to that sale, and my God, it works.
Yeah, that's awesome. You had great success with that.
Every sale has been a record breaker.
That's awesome.
Previously from the other ones.
Yeah.
So our next one is September 7th. Shameless plug. Saturday, September 7th.
That's awesome.
And so that's what we do. So Facebook is amazing. It's not too expensive, and you're able to just target the age group you want, women, men, what circumference of miles you want from where your location is, 3 miles, 10 miles, 20 miles, and so forth. So to me, that's the best thing, is I'm able to target, whether I want McAllen, Edinburgh, Far, just those people. Because why do I want to advertise a warehouse sale to people in New York and California?
Yeah.
They ain't gonna drive.
Exactly.
So, and that's awesome about Facebook, that you can do that. So if you're not doing Facebook advertising, you should. So.
And actually, the events advertising part
Yes.
is super powerful,
Yep.
because the great thing about that is when they're inside the event, right?
Mhm.
Well, that's all they're interested in. So you
Yeah.
can keep on feeding them
Exactly.
more stuff that are related to what they're interested in.
And once they're interested or liked it, guess what?
Yeah.
You have an audience now. So now you can push, hey, we're going to have this item for $2. We're going to have this item for, whatever. And it works.
Yeah.
I mean, it works.
The
So.
crazy thing about that is now, say you have 50,000 people that it's reached, right?
Yeah.
So you can make an actual lookalike audience based off of those people, and then it goes after people that have attributes and
Yeah.
characteristics like these people.
Yeah.
So the advertising is even more effective.
More better.
Yeah,
That's
more
it.
better.
More better. Yeah.
So I find it fascinating, these platforms, these huge advertising platforms like Google, Snapchat's huge right now.
Wow.
We did it with the South Texas Comic Con. Is We did Snapchat, Google, YouTube, everything under the sun, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the crazy thing with Snapchat right now is they ripped off Facebook's ads platform. It looks
Okay.
exactly the same. They made it super user friendly,
Mm-hmm.
and it's inexpensive. It's
Wow.
cheap just to go after people. And I think it's where Facebook was like 3-4 years ago
Wow.
as far as cost. It's just dirt.
What is the age demographic? Is it a younger crowd?
It's a younger demographic,
Yeah.
usually from 13 to 35.
Okay.
But there are people that are getting on it now that they're more up in age.
Okay.
But I guess for your industry, for my industry, we want to
Yeah.
go after the people that have the money that
Right.
can actually spend on
Exactly.
stuff.
Don't have
But
to
it's
have-
perfect for awareness because
Right.
I think this year we generated 18,000 people at South Texas Comic Con, and
Wow.
it was a really good year. And I see it growing, and it's
Yeah.
digital marketing. But also, Ramsey also did everything. He had billboards, he had TV, he had radio. So sometimes it's hard to track where exactly that stuff comes from.
Right.
But the fact is that you're seeing it everywhere, and it's like, all right, I'm
Mhm.
going.
Yeah.
So I find that fascinating. So, like in your industry, do they have these kind of trade shows where you go and you buy stuff like bulk?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
They're wholesale. That's what I used to do in the old days. That's how I sold my stuff.
Really?
Wholesale. So I would go to Phoenix, Las Vegas, Dallas, Denver, North Carolina. They all have trade shows, and so you would go set up a booth, and you just take orders.
Yeah.
And that's how I started. I was probably doing about $80,000 in shows,
Wow.
expenses. 3 months out of the year, I'm out at these shows
Yeah.
selling. And then after a while, it just becomes old, and it's like, if I'm out there, who's minding the store,
Yeah.
right? So then I decided, again, put it online. And when I did, of course, our sales went down because I'm not doing the shows.
Yeah.
And so, but eventually you just take the hit. You take the hit for a year or two. All of a sudden you start seeing the returns on the website. And so now we don't do any shows, strictly online. People will Google, rustic bowls, whatever it is, and they find you. And so that's what we do now. So
That's
we don't-
awesome. I just lost my train of thought. I was going to ask you something that. Okay. Well, anyways.
Tacos. No.
Tacos.
No.
So this whole I'm fascinated with the industry, the internet, right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to catch my train of thought here again,
Okay.
so
Okay.
I'm trying to kill some time.
Okay.
But man, I just forgot completely what I was going to ask you.
Trade shows.
Trade shows. No. Damn. I guess I should have written that question down. But anyways, what's the best piece of advice that all your cumulative years, right?
Yeah.
Your failures. Oh, I got it.
Okay.
I know. Work-life balance.
Oh.
I struggle with that.
We talked about this because I told you I saw you playing at Peppers, and I
Yeah.
said, dude, go home, be with your family. It's like you work all day and you're playing. Remember I told you?
Yeah.
Like dad is telling you to go home. It's tough, but it's easier now for me because I'm able to put people to do my stuff. I'm in the restaurant business because I used to have 2 restaurants. I used to run 36 restaurants, and so the best thing I learned was to delegate. Just delegate, hold people accountable, and let them just go. And that's what I do. So, and I'm able to do that now, so I can kind of free myself from doing that. But it's a tough thing. My phone's always there. People are asking me questions. I have to respond. My wife is really, really awesome. She understands, and I'm not there just for the heck of it. I'm there because I have to respond, and it means a sale. It's a question: can you do this size? And I say, and it's like a yes. How much? And I say, okay, I'll buy it. So all of a sudden, I've sold $500. In taking 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people are just like, oh, I'm shutting it off at 5. But the world we live in.
No, I don't. I can put it away for a while. But I'm not crazy. Like I gotta, answer right away. But it just depends on the questions, I guess.
Right.
Some questions I don't respond till after the weekend.
Yeah.
It just depends.
Yeah, like right now we're running a couple campaigns for private schools. So every question that comes in, I feel like, all right, we need to jump in it before they go somewhere else.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
And that's what happens. Yeah. If they don't buy it from you, they're gonna buy it
find it somewhere else.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah.
So we were talking a while back about my dad. My dad's Dairy Queen, right?
Yeah.
And you had given me some really good insight because obviously your son right now, you're trying to groom him into taking over the business, right? Eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that happened with me is I was like 30 years old. I was working at my dad's business, and eventually he was going to give it to me.
Right.
But I think what happened was he ended up getting sued.
Okay.
So he kind of got scared. Like, I don't want this life for you. And I was like, well, it's going to happen anyways. Like, I'm going to live my life.
Yeah.
If something happens, it's going to happen, right? So I left, and he was already preparing to his extra strategy where he's going to get bought out.
Right.
But then he decided not to. So I was like, oh, maybe I can still get this Dairy Queen down the line.
Mm-hmm.
But you're like, no, he's not going to give it to you. Why do you think that?
Because he's not. It's just. I mean, he'll sell it to you, I think. But you don't want that job. It's the hardest job you can do is running a restaurant. It is the hardest. You know, it's like your sancha. It's going to be your sancha. I mean, it's a tough business. I mean, if you can run a restaurant, you can run anything.
Yeah.
It's the toughest business to run. It is, and it's nonstop. It's 24/7. I mean, it's enjoyable, yeah, but it comes at a cost.
Right.
So, I don't know. I don't think he would do that to you. So, yeah.
I don't know. I grew up there. So
I know.
It's like, you know what? Maybe I ran the business for a long
I
time.
told you why he wouldn't leave it to you, because you're not going to run it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
You have to run it.
So that's the thing that I have a problem with, because a lot of people are juggling things, a lot of different things. A lot of people can be successful at doing it. I just feel like, you know, maybe I won't give it the time that it deserves, but there are also big companies that employ people just to do that. But you were saying no, because if you find the wrong manager.
Yeah, there's two options. There's two options to run a restaurant. Either you run it, or you pay somebody really, really well. You make him vested. In other words, he owns part of the restaurant. Okay, so he's least likely to steal from you, do a bad job.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, you have to find the right person. If you're not going to be there, but it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough to find that person that wants to be there, and works long hours, and he only owns 10%.
Right.
And do you want to do that?
Right.
Which means saying bye to everything else.
Yeah.
Because you won't have time to run the restaurant and do this.
Right.
There's no way.
Yeah.
No way. So.
I feel like there's a lot of people that do it, and they.
But not successfully. I don't think so. It's tough. It's tough. I mean, maybe I'm being.
What's the secret?
The secret is.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Oh yeah, when I was doing restaurant consulting, people come to me and say, "I want to open." Don't do it. But you haven't heard what it is. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Now, if you still want to do it, come to me. I'll help you lose your money.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, it's just, so the statistics are crazy. It's 50% of restaurants close within the first year. 50.
Wow.
And 80% within 5 years.
Wow.
So on the 6th year, only 20% of the restaurants are open.
And that's if they're profitable, or they're just maintaining themselves.
Just a lot of restaurants are not profitable. It's a tough business.
And
there's so many moving pieces. I mean, the dishwasher called in sick, and they can't find a babysitter. It's just because there's so much people involved.
Right.
So many people. It's tough. I mean, it's a great business. I miss it sometimes, but I don't miss the other part.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable. I mean, you gotta take your hat off to those people that run restaurants.
Do you feel like the culture within a business has a lot to do with it? Because I see now that you're always having barbecues for your guys and stuff like that. I think really shows a different side of a business owner. You have a small operation, but it's a successful operation. I think a lot of it has to do with the way you treat people.
Yeah, you gotta take care of your people. I mean, take care of your people, treat them right. I'll do barbecues. We have a Christmas party. I give them gifts during Christmas. Things like that. You have to take care of them. I mean, my turnover is, minimal. Minimal. One a year maybe.
Wow.
And it's usually a new person that didn't make it. Came in for 6 months and just couldn't hack it.
Yeah.
So, but we have people been there 11 years, 10 years, 8 years. Yeah. So, you just take care of them. It's like a family.
How long have you been doing this?
Wow. 20 years now.
Wow. And it wasn't an overnight success.
No, people say, wow, yeah, it takes a lot of work, man.
When did you start notice that, like, oh shit, this is a real thing, that it's tangible and it can sustain my life?
When I sold the retail store, and like maybe 6 months after that, a year after that, it was just, and once we started on Wayfair as well. Wayfair was like, wow, because the volume is incredible. I mean, it's just crazy volume, non-stop. I'll get in on Monday and there's like 60 orders.
Damn.
It's just crazy.
How do you tackle those? Because I'm guessing some of them have like a premium shipping. You have to go after those first, or how does that work?
No, so like when we do on the platform like House and Wayfair, we get the order and the shipping label. We don't pay for the shipping. So,
Okay.
and if you're as a customer go on Wayfair and you need that mirror in 2 days, well, we get that label that says we got to ship it in 2 days.
Okay.
But we just we pull those and we know we have to do those faster, and that's it. So every platform has a limited time for you to ship. Usually 3 days max.
Okay.
So we have to get all the
You have to
orders
jump on it.
within 3 days. I mean, we produce. It's incredible. You've been there.
Yeah.
It's incredible what we do. I mean, of course, I toot my own home, but you have to be there. I mean, you have to go there. People have no idea.
So, have you found anybody else that does what you do
No.
here in the Rio Grande Valley?
No, I don't think there's anybody.
Yeah, because I believe once I shared with you, or you shared with me, that we're gonna have a e-commerce
Yeah.
thing, and I was like, who was that? Like, why did they get you?
I know, it was McAllen Chamber. I love McAllen Chamber, just FYI. I was a board member. Yeah, it was some guy selling coffee.
I don't even
Forgot what it
remember.
was. Little packets of something. And we talked about it. It's like, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, it's...
You're like one of those hidden gems that you don't really talk too much about it.
I don't want people to know. Yeah. So people come into the warehouse. I'm like walk-ins. I'm like, ugh, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy that sometimes, but they're not really. They're just just
browsing.
Yeah. And so.
And not really. You don't want to entertain.
Yeah.
I can assume it wastes time.
Yeah, it does. And sure. I mean, if you're coming in because you want a custom furniture, yeah, of course. Because you come in, you're serious, you're focused, you know what you're going for. But if you're just there by accident,
Right.
But well, I say, hey, look around. I'll check on you a little bit, and we'll get some sales sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's not what we depend on. That's not our focus. So.
What have you found that is your best type of customer?
God, it just depends. Like, is it wholesale? Is it furniture? Is it retail? So
Okay, so is it easier on wholesale or is it retail? I'm guessing wholesale because they
wholesale
do the work
is easier
for you.
Wholesale is easier because it's bulk. We're shipping, $500 or $3,000 orders, and it's just bulk. You just, it's 20 bowls, it's 10 of these, 20 of these, 50 of these. You put on a pallet and you ship it. Very little damages versus 100 orders of XYZ items. Each one's packed individually. Each one has to be the right color, the right size.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so there's a lot of moving pieces.
So you just got into purses.
Oh yeah.
Talk to me about that because I saw it, I was like, damn, this is nice.
So traveling with my wife into Guadalajara, I'm always trying to just buy that. It's like, I don't know, just come on, you shop, get some nice shoes, get some purses, whatever. And then I realized in this purse store, leather, they were like, wow, these are really nice purses. I mean, really soft leather. I mean, hand stitched, what do you call it?
Embroidery, is that?
Yeah, all that, and wow, this is cool. So then we bought a couple. We bought some shoes, not for me, for my wife. And then I posted on Facebook, and people were like, all their friends were going crazy, like, oh my God, where can I buy that? And like, and the little light bulb went off. It's like, okay. And so I started just kind of, engaging with the friends, and they said, yeah, I would buy that, and I would buy that. And I'm like, okay. So the next time I went, and I bought like 25. And that's how it started. And then the next time I went, I met with the owner, a small family-run business, been doing it for 75 years. It's called Borsa, B-O-R-S-S-A.
Okay.
Met with him about 2 months ago. I should have the rights to the whole United States.
Oh, wow.
So I should be the distributor up here. I probably have now maybe 80 purses now.
Wow.
I just got them just photographed them. I've got the website already, borsausa.com. Now the hard part is going to be creating the website,
right.
Getting people there,
Getting
the
the
content, getting the videos, so it's a gradual step. I'm excited. You go on Amazon, there's really nobody saying real, genuine Mexican leather purses. Wayfair, nobody's selling that. Again, it's just the connections that you have,
right.
the attention to detail and the quality of the order that I got. 2 of them were wrong. 1 phone call, WhatsApp, whatever. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. And so they're fixing that. So that's the kind of relationship you want to have. And before I started buying them, I said, look, to the owner, I said, this is what we're trying to do. This is what I want to do. You got to be able to keep up with me. Who knows what's going to happen if this thing takes off. Are you going to be able to produce 50 purses?
Right.
In 2 weeks. Things
So,
like that.
so like the turnaround time for them to make one purse, or how big is their operation?
They probably have about 12 to 15 employees.
Oh, wow,
It's still small though.
Yeah.
But they can adjust to whatever volume we have.
Gotcha.
And that's a good thing. That he's ready. He's excited. I was his biggest customer now because they have 3 retail stores there in Guadalajara, and so they just whatever they put on the showroom, that's what they sell.
Right.
You know, so they really don't take. You know, they may have 10 of these and 2 in blue, 2 in red,
Gotcha,
2 in green.
yeah.
You know, so it's something for them to get used to. Yeah, they made a couple of mistakes, but they're receptive. They're fixing it. They're going to take care of it. So and things like that. And that's the growing pains of a new line. So, but I'm excited about the new line. I think I'm already thinking like who am I going to get to do the videos? Who am I going to do to do the shots, the lifestyle shots?
Yeah. So, like, when you travel over there, do you find a lot of these business owners that they're hungry for these type of things?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes, they are. They are. I mean, yeah, this guy's like whatever you need. Took me, gave me a tour of the plant.
That's awesome.
You know, it's just a house basically.
Yeah.
You go into a house and they're all there making
That's crazy. I would love
Like
to
I
see
said-
it.
oh, it's
you
fun.
need to go Facebook Live on that, man, so I can see these behind the scenes
we
stuff.
should do that.
I find that fascinating.
I'll do
man.
that next time. Yeah.
And I think those are the things that really sell products. Like, this is where you're getting it from. This is the guy that's making it. These are his employees, and it's a whole story now.
And you can hear the noise. You know, being tooled, the leather being tooled.
That's awesome.
It's amazing.
So, and before we finish off the podcast, I want to ask you, in all your cumulative years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything that you learned, your life, your wife, your kids, everything. What's the best piece of advice that you can give somebody or anybody that is just going through life?
Take chances. Just take chances. Just be smart about it, though. Take chances. You know, go with your gut feeling. You know, nobody's gonna give you anything ever. You just everything you get, you work for it. You just don't give up. Keep going. Keep going. If you fall down, get up. Keep going. I mean, it took me, a while to get up here, to get here, and so it's just don't give up. I mean,
Do you ever feel like you just started?
like I started.
You just started. Like you have a great amount of success already, but do you feel like you just started? Like,
Yeah, it feels like it hasn't been too long that I've been doing this. So I mean, at one time I'll be honest with you. Maybe it's TMI, but I mean, we were in debt for almost $500,000.
Wow.
At one time, and now we're debt free.
That's awesome.
But it takes a lot of work. It takes focus. It takes being creative, finding the right people, taking care of them, and that's it. So anybody can do it. It's just
Do you think anybody can do it?
Anybody can do it if they focus and they don't make excuses. I mean, anybody can make excuses. I mean, it's just
Easier
go,
way to get out.
Yeah, just go do it, man.
Yeah.
That'll stick. Just do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
I call those dreamers.
Yeah.
And I can write a book. When I used to have the retail store, my customers, they would come in and I read them I'm a good people read. I can read people really well, quickly. And so they would come in and it's husband and wife or whatever. And you can read those right away. There's dreamers that will tell you what they're looking for.
Yeah.
But they've been looking for that item for 10 years. But that's the beauty, that they're never going to find that item.
Yeah.
But the beauty is in looking, the search, that fun part. And you have others that the husband's going, babe, whatever you want, buy it. It's like, well, I don't know. I'm like, lady, Jesus. You know how hard it is to get the husband to say yes to anything? The first thing he says is like, where are you going to put it? I've heard it all, man, trust me. And it's like, well, I'm going, lady, just buy it. Trust me. He said yes, so you can buy it. Well, so it's always fun. It's interesting, human nature. I love to just watch people and how they react to the situation.
So before we finish the podcast, I want to make sure that people can find you on all your channels, buy those pretty badass purses that you've been showing, or anything that you have.
Sure.
So where can they see all your stuff?
Okay, so for those who don't know, it's Jesse De Leon on Instagram. On eBay, it's just type in Tierra Dulce. On Etsy is Rancho Adobe. On our website is MexicanImports.com. The wholesale website is MyAmigosImports.com. The furniture website is CreativeRusticFurniture.com, and you can find us on Wayfair and House. What else? I mean, just everywhere, I guess.
What's your number one selling product?
The wooden doughbows. It's a wooden bowl. In the old days, they would put bread to rice, or bread risers. That's my number one item.
And those you have food safe as well, right?
We have food safe, every kind of size, long, thin, short, fat, tall, whatever, deep. you name it, we have it. The king of bowls, my friend.
So this is the funny part. Like my dad, you know, he made a lot of money making burgers.
Yeah.
Do you ever think like people are gonna look down on you how you made your money? Because I feel like a lot of people, like, they label people like, oh, you flip burgers.
No, I think people respect what you do. I mean, I think people respect what I do. There's going to be haters no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm sure half of my followers hate me. You know, not hate me, but go, oh, there he goes again. He's in Guadalajara now, or he's going to Cabo now. You know, but you work hard for what you do.
Yeah.
And it's okay. You do the best you can do, and I enjoy it. You know,
awesome.
I'm sleeping, and I'm making money, so I don't mind. So.
Jesse, I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Sure.
Thank you for all your insight and life and everything that you've ever done. And I never got to thank you for those 3 months of interning for you. So I did learn a lot, man. So
good.
I appreciate you.
Anytime, sir. Thank you for having me.
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Welcome to the Joshua Morales Podcast.